Welcome to another edition of You Have to Reach Millions, where we help entrepreneurs expand their marketing strategies and their branding and introduce them more to the world. And today I have a very special guest, my beautiful wife, Felicia M. Johnson. Is that how you go by that, or you go by?
I go the whole Miller, Felicia Miller Johnson.
Boy, don't get married. Y'all see what they do. They want to keep their daddy name.
I love how you gotta respect the ancestors, the generations before us.
Respect the ancestors. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, what's going on today? Felicia, you want to introduce yourself to my viewers?
Yes, aloha everyone. I am Trapper's wife, but I am also an intuitive life coach. I help modern women to release their inner imposter and to work their mojo on their career, their marriage, and their spiritual life.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Make sure you're talking into the mic, too. We're going to bring it up a little bit on there for you.
All right.
Okay. So how does I live with you?
Yes, so this is a little different. This is our first live or first interview together. So yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah, it's something. So people, tarot readings, card readings seems to be a huge thing. Like a whole world that I really didn't know what existed. I just figured you was a witch.
Look, that used to be a trigger, but that is no longer that. I have healed that witch wound. So yes, it is a technique that people use in order to, as I use the philosophy about living smart. So a lot of times people are visual individuals, and so cards are a way to let people be able to have that message and see it and use those different things. So yeah, cards are a great tool to help people to live smart.
And it looks like a very underserviced business model. It's like there's so many people that are craving the information about the card reading and the tarot.
Right.
And unlike what I do, it's like, you find 1,500 people, you happy,
Right.
But with this, it's like millions on top of millions of people that are interested.
Yeah, it's one of those, catch-22s in the sense of it comes with a lot of judgment because a lot of people are affiliated with devil worship or something like that. They don't understand it. They fear it. But yet people know the benefits that it has to be able to serve them. So it's kind of like what the media says it is and how people use it. But like with anything, it's the intent behind it, right? So like, for example, you can take a hammer. Use that hammer. You can go out, build a house, home of protection for your family, right? You can take that same hammer, go out and murder somebody with it. So it becomes, is the tool good or bad, or is it the intent and the use behind the tool? And we've had many discussions about that whole what's good, what's bad. But that's how tarot cards and oracle cards are seen. It's like, what is behind it? I use it for development and helping people to be able to live smart in their life. So yeah, I do no harm.
Gotcha. Okay, so before we jump too deep into this, guys, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. If you're getting something, if you're still here, you're getting something out of this, and that's how we get paid. Okay. So a lot of times when I saw the process from the beginning. First, it was just about manifestation. Seemed like that was the big thing first, like speaking into existence. How did you even get into tarot readings and?
Yeah, I had my Jesus moment. I think actually we had just had this big fight, right? Because we're doing real talk on your show, right?
No.
Y'all, we just had this big fight. And I was driving down the road and I was just frustrated. And I was like, okay, you're going to have to show me. And so that really started my whole journey of being able to live smart. So in the midst of doing that, it was a calling, an inkling to be able to say, okay, I'm a visual person, right? So I was in the store and I saw these cards and, coming from the Christian background, it was like, no, like you said, the whole witchery and devil worship stuff. And I was like, no. And so I just walked out. But one of those things is what's aligned with you will continue to show up. Those spiritual signs will keep coming. And so I was in the store again, and I was like, okay, I'm going to buy these cards, right? And so I knew then that I was definitely on the right path because I had bought these cards. But you didn't know about it. Nobody knew about it. I had it like on my desk behind me. And I did like this networking meeting. And this lady I didn't know, all of a sudden she just pops up and she's like, hey, I feel as though you're a spiritual person. And then my intuition immediately kicked in and it said, are you wanting a card reading? And she sat up. She said, yes, please. Because like how you said, people want these things, but they don't know where to go or to trust or all those different things, right? And so that just started the whole journey. It was like, oh, okay. So I gave her this reading. So I had to get past the whole imposter syndrome. Like, I haven't had these cards for that long, and who am I to, give this reading to her to be able to help her? But ever since then, it's just been this ongoing thing. And now I even have my own Oracle deck of cards, Live Smart. So
That's amazing. Our Kanye West had a verse that said, a psychic told me in my lifeline that in my lifetime, my name would help light up the Chicago skyline.
right.
And so it's a big top part of hip hop, and 50 Cent raps about it all the time. Also about how there's other ways to help your situation. And Jay-Z and Beyonce, they all over. Shouts out to the Beehive.
Right, it's a black parade. Check it out. Like I say, and that's the thing in songs. Like all these messages, people are talking about it, but it's like, are you really listening to the words? Like, what are they talking about? Like, ancestors on the wall and incense and all. I'm like, yeah, it's a whole thing out there, but it's just like you said, people are fearful of what they don't understand.
And just for the algorithm and everybody, those are incense burning in here. Those are incense burning.
That is the success incense. So wishing much success for the show and for our businesses and for your businesses out there. So yeah.
And it's all about branding. This show is about branding and helping entrepreneurs to reach millions. And one thing that I do admire about you is your branding, your advertising, and the way that you market. It's just phenomenal. I'm glad you're here so we can talk about you pushing it more and even getting your own YouTube channel, because I think this is the space for you, because I didn't realize how big the demand was for tarot readings and card readings and.
Well, like you said, I had to get past the imposter syndrome. I had to get out of the way in the sense of, because when you start talking about spirituality, and as y'all can see, African American female, Christian background, all of what does that look like? The judgment, like you said, being called a witch. And it's like, do you want to add another thing that people look at you kind of sideways, about? And so, but then, once you get past that and you're working in your divine purpose, it's like you're releasing those fear. It's like, okay, yeah, like I'm here to serve those individuals. And no matter what you do, somebody's going to have like some kind of judgment or something like that. So do what makes you happy, right? And Felicia does me happy, so live out your namesake.
That's it. And see, coming from the Deep South, I've always been around hoodoo or voodoo or whatever we said. There would be something there, even though they were all deeply spiritual people that I grew up around. But being that close to Mississippi and Louisiana, down there on the borderline, it was always a part of my family's heritage.
Yeah. So let's tell them the story, right? So, like I said, what's in you is going to be in you that comes out, but I really didn't know. So I grew up in the military family, so we moved around from place to place, right? So I was born in Alabama, but moved around. And so, but I always had a calling to collect, like, mammy dolls. And so
I can't even say what I call them on. I can't even say what I
no,
call them on here.
Cannot.
One day I might be able to monetize this show, and I don't want to jeopardize that.
Right.
But if you ever seen that movie Hoodlums,
so I never really knew.
Tales from the Hood.
Okay, that was yes. So I never really knew why I was drawn to them, but I just had them. And so in my apartment, I had them all lined up on my like buffet counter, like into the kitchen, because I had like a 1-bedroom apartment. And so you came over and you like saw those. But like over the time, I really didn't know. But now it was like connecting to the ancestors. But I would have never gave that answer from before. But that's how they were, talking to me like, we're here, we're coming. But it took, what? How long we've been together? 20 plus years?
Before that to even come true.
Really?
And for us to realize that both of our great grandmothers were dabbled.
Hoodoo, yeah.
They dabbled. So
But see, how many of y'all family don't talk about it? They do have these things, like everything's like this whole secret. I had no idea. Because like when we were, first dating, I thought you were talking about voodoo. And again, it was like, no, what is that? And I just kind of blocked it out, so to speak, right? And then later on, once I learned the term, like, oh, there's hoodoo. And so those are two different things, y'all. Voodoo is a religion. Okay? Hoodoo is empowerment. It was created basically from a combination of the African slaves when they came to the South, right? With the combination, because they were getting Protestant Christianity. That's why a lot of it has to do with Bible scriptures. And then also the Native Americans, because the African Americans were in the same kind of area with them about the medicine and whole herbs. And then you put all that together. And that's how you got, hoodoo. And people misunderstand what that is. But in slavery times, our people weren't able to go to the white doctors and all those different things, right? So they're using the skills and the abilities and the know-hows they knew from their country and combining that with what they were learning about, the Bible, being taught about that, and they were making it work for themselves. And so, again, there are elements to it that, just like the hammer, people say, curses and jinx and all that. I was like, I don't do any harm. That's not, my thing. But it's like the empowerment, taking back the power of who I am and understanding where I came from and using those things for my daily life so I can live smart. So that's what, hoodoo is.
Yeah, and being Americans descendant of slavery, it's only natural that we would connect and get married and have babies and all this stuff would come out and be like. But what's really interesting? I think about it. One of our first dates, I took you to Atlanta. We was at the Underground. We did a card reading.
We did. We had our signatures.
And I still remember that. Yeah.
But at the time, and neither one of us were afraid to do it. It wasn't like, but we did it. It was just like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And that thing, we just moved on. I probably have it saved in our whole little box of.
I got it saved up here. I mean, I remembered it, and it's been pretty accurate. So
we still together since
still together.
97.
Yeah, time goes by really quick. So let's talk more about the business because, with you being an entrepreneur that's been out here making your way for a while now, you've produced books.
Yeah.
You got cards now. You got an app that you made.
Yes.
I brag on.
Because I am modern.
I brag on you all the time. I'm modern witch. Which is just amazing because nobody talks about the modern witch. They think of witch on a broom and a hat and cooking up a brew and
dark.
Yeah. They forget about Glinda the Good Witch.
Exactly. Can we talk? Shout out to Oz. Yes. Yes. There are different type of witches for sure. Yeah. So the business side of it is that. It is a business, but at first you kind of struggle with that in the sense of you have these spiritual gifts, and my business is called Sevenfold Coaching, and so it is based off that scripture because 7 is the number of completion. It talks about the different gifts, and that's how I want to serve in leadership, giving, sharing, encouragement, prophecy, all those different things. And so it was like, how do you align spirituality with the business and how that's supposed to provide for your family? And so at first, it was the whole struggle to that. But now it's when you ask, believe, and receive. That's how I operate my business now. I actually put in the intentions of who am I here to serve? Who are the clients that I can meet and how I'm able to genuinely help them? Because there was a time that I was struggling. And so it's like, what did I want to have to be able to help me on my journey? And so I'm all about efficiency. So I want to be able to come and support people to be like, okay, look, I've been down this road a little bit. Let me give you some insight because you seem to be going down here. This is kind of like what works, for me in helping them. And so you just put that into the business model. And having an MBA and a degree in marketing, everything works out for my good, right? My highest good.
That's it. And with that being said, how can people reach you?
Yeah, so sevenfoldcoaching.com. Reach out to me there. You got free stuff, access that. You can explore a little bit about that. But then when you're really ready saying, yes, I want to ascend, I want to go to that next level, schedule a free smart call with me and let's talk about it. What's going on in your life? How I can help you to live smart and ascend to new levels of success.
And on other social medias, Instagram.
Yes, Instagram. Because I come from this business background and where you serve, LinkedIn. Because there's a lot of people out there that are doing, corporate jobs and businesses and they're out there and they have a spiritual side as well. So I'm more engaged on LinkedIn.
Is there a way to reach you there? Or?
Yeah, Felicia Miller Johnson. Name search, yes.
And on Instagram for the Instagrammers, because
Instagram is Sevenfold Coaching.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Also, so like I said, you've been doing this for a while. You produced a few books. You got an app. I mean, you just keep coming up with stuff every day. And I see you on all these stages. You're always on a different stage talking about your products and what you're doing. And I know you have products to sell. Like, where can people buy your products at?
Sevenfoldcoaching.com, because that is the consolidated place. Like, where can I control my brand, right? And that's the one that I can control on. The sevenfoldcoaching.com is where they can get the books, essential oils, like I said, links to my app for the Android and ISO, Apple. So yeah, Sevenfold Coaching. Look, I'm about making efficiency, y'all. Sevenfoldcoaching.com.
Okay, and what about like with that kind of business with tarot readings, because it has had a negative thing for us? You say like people scamming people. People feel like they've been scammed. People don't want to buy snake oil or whatever it is. The thing is, how do you get around that in your business?
The setting the intentions of knowing what I am here to serve. Like, I'm not out here with the intention to rob or, deceive people at all. Y'all all know when you see somebody, your intuition, your gut is your second brain. You'll know when you see someone like, I just can't put my finger on it. Something's not right. But see, when you see someone, you be like, I don't know what it is about you, but I know that I need to have a conversation like with you. So that's how I know it works for me, is the intent behind that. So, but yeah, be careful, because there are people, out there, but trust your intuition, trust that gut, you know. And then if nothing else, as I say, ask for guidance. I have a whole Aloha Spirit team, ancestors, Emmanuel, aka God, guide me to the person that I'm supposed to connect with, talk to, and then sit still. And then listen. And they'll let you know. You'll hear a voice in your head, or all of a sudden a bird or something will fly by, or something that'll trigger you to be like, that's your message. You'll be like, okay, then that's the direction I'm supposed to go. So, yeah.
And then you have because I know you do more than card readings, which I know is a part of your business. Like, if I contact you and I want a card reading, you can do that virtually.
Oh yeah, it's Zoom, because my program is just, card readings are a part of it. That's not like the only thing, because I hear messages. So I'm a clairvoyant, clairaudient, to where I just have this knowing and I hear voices. I can connect things like together. That's like a big piece of it. So in my coaching sessions, I start people off with my Start to Live Smart program. So I know I've said that a couple times. Like, well, what's the truth? She keeps talking about this Live Smart. So business background. So SMART goals, y'all heard of those, right? Specific, measurable, action, relatable, and time bound, right? But then as I was struggling doing all different things, you also heard that phrase about work smarter, not harder, right? I got the message to live smart, because I was a busy human doing versus being a human being. And so it's like, okay, Felicia, how do you live smart? And so what that means is that I had to see myself and awaken to who I am. Who is Felicia? And that meant learning everything from what's my name meaning. Y'all, right now, open up another screen. If you have not looked up your name, look it up. Names have so much power. Like I said, my name, Felicia, means happy. right? Despite, Ice Cube and the Bye Felicia, that was a trigger, right? Back in the day. It was like because she was being dismissed and I didn't want to be dismissed and people like, bye Felicia. But I took back the power in my name because I was like, no, my name means happy. So all you're basically saying is bye happy, or you're saying bye to your happiness. So whichever way you want to do that. So that went from numerology, assessments. What are your character strengths? On my free, when you go to my website, you can get a free assessment of what do you value. Learn more about yourself. Research who you are. Ask your parents, like, well, how did y'all come up with the name Felicia? Like, where did that come from? Like, learn more about who you are and awaken to that. Then the M is to master your emotions. There was a time that, only emotion you might would have got was angry. That's the only word I could really give you. But as a black woman, you want to avoid those whole stereotypes. And so it was like I would squash my emotions. Anybody got time for that? We got to get to the goal. We got to move, do all these different things. And then I needed to ask, believe, and receive. What is it that I want? I could tell you what I didn't want. I don't want this. I don't want that. But I couldn't specifically tell you at the time what I did want. Then when I decided what I did want, did I really believe I could have it? If you don't believe that you can have it, then guess what? You're sure not going to receive it, right? Which is connected to that imposter syndrome of like, oh, can I really do that? I want this, but you don't believe in yourself. So you're not going to receive it. You're speaking against yourself. And then I had to learn to relax, relate, release. Shout out to all those different world fans, right? That what is it taking time? Because I was so busy doing stuff. Because I felt like I had to prove myself. I had to be, say it with me, twice as good to get half of what everybody else has. And so that was tiring. And then put on there the Christianity, the Proverbs 31 woman. I didn't know how to do that well, right? So it was like, just overwhelmed. Like, I want to be a good wife. I want to be a good mother and still take care of my business and all that. And so now I'm like, yeah, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman, but I do it with ease. And I also, for those that, quick tip for that, read that scripture where she talking about she takes care of her servants and her maidens, which means the woman had help. She wasn't doing it by herself. She wasn't doing it by herself, okay? But see, people skip all over that. But those are the inside tips that I realized, like, ask for help. Get a coach, someone to help you, your community.
Multiply yourself.
Right. Ask your team, like, show me. Let this flow to me how I want it to be. And so I had to learn how to forgive some stuff, too. I had to learn to forgive myself, some things that happened, in the past in my life. So I had to learn how to do all that, meditations and all of that. Like one of my favorite ones is Ho'oponopono. You and I talked about, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, right? And then finally I had to learn how to talk wisely. How many of y'all Star Wars fans? School of Yoda. Do or do not, but there is no try. Like what words were I saying?
Try is a struggle word.
Yes! I am good, yes. Try is a struggle word.
Try is a struggle word.
It is. Pop up another screen. Look up the definition of trying. And it literally says difficult or hard to endure. So then put whatever you're wanting after that. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to go back to school. I'm trying to make my YouTube channel be successful. And it's like, no.
Don't try, do.
Don't try, do. Right? But then, if nothing else, don't release speaking against it. And so I had to put all that together. And so that's where I got the whole live smart. So I'm in the moment like, okay, Felicia, what can you live smart? And it immediately takes me through all of those things to do that. And so that's how I run our life, our business, all of that. Yeah. So
two things I heard out of everything you said was free. You said to go to your page and there's something free there. Yes. I heard that. The second thing, which was the topic of the ALAX this week, my Sunday motivationals that I watched, was imposter syndrome. Now you was a person that was using that term way before it was a popular term.
Yeah.
You even wrote the book on imposter syndrome. You literally wrote the book on it.
Do you feel like a fraud?
Do you feel like a fraud? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so how does it feel to see all that manifesting now that like You were way ahead because you always talk about me being 10 years ahead of the game. On this one, you were 10 years ahead of the game.
Right.
How does that feel? And now that you see that it's the main topic of conversation, and you wrote the book on it.
Yeah. Well, it's confirmation that I was following the path. It was with the intent behind it was, okay, how do I let people know quickly what this is and what they can do to get over that? Like that, there was books written before about imposter syndrome, and it's all about the research and all that. Like in my book, it's not about that. It's you get a little bit of history about it, like what it is and what some signs maybe look like. But the main point of it is giving you practical things that you can do day to day. Like right now, like get you a playlist. Like that's one of the things. Like, okay, I'm feeling all this, self-doubt. And so I think that's definitely one of the things that we connect about is like the music. And it's like those songs that you're listening to, like how we talked about like Black Parade. It's like, okay, like, yeah, they're talking about what I'm talking about, the ancestors and the incense and the crystals and the full moons. Like, yes. So it empowers you. Music ingrains in us a whole nother vibe and feeling. And as y'all know, shout out to Trapper for sure, that, he knows how to
rapper,
baby. Right? Of being able to connect with that. And so, like, have you a playlist. So if you sign up for the free stuff, I will absolutely share with you also, you'll get my career and money playlist as well of songs that are on there that will encourage you and motivate you. Like, yes, I can keep going and do what I'm doing. So
You good at this. Look at you pulling them in. Look, you go, girl.
right.
So that's just amazing. I mean, it's just to sit here and have an interview with you and to see all the growth that you've been through and to see that all everything that you've done and how we got to this point, because it's rare that you see two college educated people who are both authors who
yes.
own multiple businesses.
Check.
And and they can sit up and have a conversation that can also give you real talk about relationships.
Real talk.
And because we've actually lived it, we've contemplated putting a show together with me and Felicia. I got some choice names for it. If you guys would be interested in something like that, drop it down in the comments. And if you would like for us to see more of us together outside of just brand building.
Right.
Because that's what this show is all about, how to reach millions and helping the entrepreneurs reach larger crowds and talk about how they got started in their business and why they got started in their business. So we talked earlier about an app.
Yes.
So you wrote 2 books.
Yep.
And then you come up with an app.
Yes. Because it goes back to what are the things that I am using. So I'm downloading apps on my phone all the time. And so, you have your physical cards, but you're not always like at your desk or whatever the case may be. And so it was like, I've downloaded, other card apps. Like, is this really a thing? So I looked at that and I was like, okay, first I want to have my cards that are personal to me, because when y'all go out there and you see different apps or cards, a lot of times they're like might be fairy images or something like that. I wanted some cards that had faces that look like us, look like me, and it was modern day. That's why I said it's a modern day time. You're with your kids, you're on a laptop, you're doing all those different things. So that's what I created. So I created what I wanted to see. Ask, believe, and receive. And so then it goes to get some help. Like, okay, who do I need to connect with that can build this app? And so then that's what I did. So then went through that and got the resources, and there you go, y'all. So again, get the actual link to it directly, but it's in the Google Play Store and the Apple Store for that. So it becomes, what is it that you want? Manifest that. I mean, somebody did it. Somebody got creative apps. I was like, well, of course I can.
So now we're looking at, you have 2 books that you've written. You have an app. You're college educated. You're married. You have beautiful kids, because they look like me, and a great husband, and you're a great spouse and a great partner in life. And I'm glad that God made our paths cross. And I mean, you have it all, and that's how we know she's a witch, because most. Because Because who else could have controlled me all this time? Anyway.
But you have free will, okay? It was like, I didn't, despite what you said, that first meal I cooked for you, I didn't hoodwink you or jinx you.
Hoodoo. I knew I was being hoodooed at the time, but I allowed it.
And he still ate it, y'all, so he still stayed.
That's
right?
it.
Right.
That's too funny. But they said, look, you're going to get all kinds of people in your... They're going to blow you up. Y'all want to keep a man? You want to keep a man? Hit up my wife. She definitely knows how to do that.
Now, like I said, this is about marriage. This is... You want real, relationship. This is, marriage. It's not about the one night stands and all that. But it's like, how do you make this, relationship work together, and that he can still be true to who he is, but I can be true to how I am. But yet we are supporting and working together with that. But again, I said the intentions, Proverbs 31 woman. The verse talks about, her husband, sits among the leaders and moan among the gates. Hence, he reaches millions, right? So speaking those things as they are, so be it. And here he is.
Well, I'm glad you found something that I did that you could support, because when I was making music, I didn't feel all the support that I feel now. So this is, but I mean,
but that's real talk, because I wasn't the woman that's sitting next to you now back then. Like I said, this is a journey. I was in Oz because I had grew up in a military lifestyle and moving around. And so then it was like when we came here, it's like, okay, would I have these perceptions about living in the South? Because, I was East Coast, y'all. Graduated in Jersey, So East Coast. It was like going to have my job in New York, live in Jersey and all that. And it was like the South. I was like, I thought I had left that behind because I had these preconceived notions of what that was. You were talking about when you was in the military. It was like Little Rock. I was like, what? That place? What? The place where they didn't want the black 9 kids going to school? That's where we're going? Judgment, perception. But that woman...
I mean, it was there or Atlanta, so, I mean, it was like a coin toss. Don't just say that was the only option.
Well, yeah. And so then it became that woman here. I realized, no, I wasn't like sport. I didn't understand that. We met when you were in the military. You were military issued. I knew how to deal with a military man. Like, I can do that in my sleep. I know what we got, what events we need to go to, what we need to do, what that looks like, what I need to wear. Like, but then it was like, okay, I'm gonna, not re-enlist into the Army, and I'm gonna do this music career. What? Yes. What? It wasn't safe. But see, that was how.
That's what a lot of people.
The root chakra. Wait, I knew in the military, I knew I was gonna have a place to eat. I can go to the commissary. House was gonna be taken care of. They're gonna provide all of that.
We'll provide you with housing. We'll provide you with money, because we do more report 9 a.m. than most people do in their entire life.
And we still do that. Like, we didn't give away. Shout out to that principal. We was talking about that the other day.
Shout out to Ice Cube. That's why I picked that up. I Want to Kill Sam out, if y'all want to check that out.
Yes. So, I can say that now. Absolutely. Because I didn't understand that. I was like, what's music and videos and all that? Like, I don't understand that. But I didn't have the words to communicate. This is new territory for me. I don't know what that looks like. And I'm dealing with my own S. And so then that's why I was like, okay, Felicia, you need to see yourself and awaken. Who are you? What is the reason why you're here, like in the South? But now we can look at it and say, especially with, Hoodoo, it's right here.
Yeah, now she don't want to leave, y'all, because I'm trying to get to the islands. I'm trying to pack up and go. Like, let's leave all this behind, leave the kids with their grandparents, leave them a little money, and just disappear. Right, and she like, nah, we ain't leaving. Let's go to the little country towns I was trying to take her to before she trying to drive. She wouldn't go to them little country towns. Like, hey, when we gonna go to such and such a?
Let's go. And look right now, it's like the book, like the Memphis Hoodoo. Like, we're right here in this. I was like, we was in Memphis last night. Last night we were in Memphis. She's having a ball. I just shops like,
I said, baby, let's move to Memphis. I don't want to go to Memphis. Now it's like, let's go to Memphis. Let's go to Memphis.
Because you had to get an understanding of who you are and what is the reason, the purpose that you're supposed to be here. But now it makes so much sense because when I'm learning and doing things, it's like, oh, that's in Alabama. Oh, that's right down the street. Oh, Nakalulu Falls. I've been there how many times? Nashville. I lived there, and it was like, oh yeah, I remember this building. Like, the Pantheon and all. Like, oh, okay. Like, so, but now it makes sense. But I had to do my work. I had to do my shadow work.
And those are all the places we hang out. You do realize that. Nashville, Memphis. Right.
But at the time,
Alabama, Birmingham.
Yeah, at the time, no.
Atlanta.
Because I was not open. I was not open to receive. And so you're right. When you first was talking about music and all of that, it was like, But then I think also you've come to realize, as we talk about the song, I'm Every Woman. Yes, but there's also this piece of it of I'm not able to do everything, right? So it was like you had these expectations of what I was supposed to do for you, but they might not have aligned with what I was, thinking I can do or believe that I can do with imposter syndrome or whatever the case may be. And it's like, So, right. So, yeah. No, I wasn't supportive about that because I didn't understand that. But I had to deal with myself first. But we were able to work through that. And so, like, now we're sitting here and we can talk about that. But, yeah, I own that.
Yeah, and I think it was our trip to New Orleans earlier this year that we had a chance to have a great conversation.
It's when I came out the spiritual broom closet. Because...
Broom closet. Told y'all she a witch.
Because... Okay, so when we share a story, like I've had these experiences, and if you go back and you look at your life, like there's always these signs. They're showings. They'll let you know. But I didn't tell nobody because, like you said, of the terminology, what people say, we talk about witches. But then, like I've always been drawn to the Wizard of Oz and all of that, right? And it's like they're witches, and I'm like Mrs. One, which is the North. It's like when you first arrive to this place and you're like, where am I? Like where am I at? I don't know what I'm doing. And she comes in and she's the one that gives you guidance. It's like, look, you're in Oz. This is what it is. You need to put these shoes on, follow the yellow brick road, go for it.
And you'll be okay.
You'll be okay. That's how I am. Like, yeah. I am going to welcome you into this and I'm going to set you to the path. And that's how my Live Smart program is. It's like, you're going to work to me for like 5 weeks, get you started, and then like later on we can check in and all that kind of thing. But I had to realize that's what my business is, because there are coaches that are like, hey, we got to work for 12 months, 6 months. And I'm like, that's not how I work. I'm going to get you started. Here's some resources, help you calm down, realize, okay, but then you got to start on your journey. But like with us and how we were connecting, like all of that now makes sense and we can come together. But at the time, I didn't know.
Yeah, because you never watched. You're not old enough to remember the syndication of Bewitch. You remember that show, Bewitch? Yeah, yeah, she was dope.
Yeah.
she was dope.
Every day.
She was every day. She was every day. She was before her time. She was hilarious.
Right.
That's probably a show they'll remake because they always remake. There's nothing new under the sun. That'll be a show that they'll probably remake. I guarantee you, because that was a great show.
And then if they make it with a black woman,
I might have gave away too much that time. But that's what we do. We help you reach millions. So there we go. She's gonna be producing a new television show. So y'all don't steal our ideas. We're gonna put everything together for that show, write it and put it out. So
in New Orleans, so we had been together for 20 plus years, but we had never had this conversation. But they would jokingly say, "Call me a witch," and I went from
we wasn't joking.
No,
we wasn't joking.
Yeah, but I went from the no, I'm not a witch, to not saying anything, until then finally it was. At the time, I'm like, I don't want to say witch, but there's this, but it will show you. He already knew. That's what I'm talking about. Like there was no surprises, because it was just like when we met. Right? I've always described it as. This is back when we had pages, y'all. So we
beepers. Shouts out to Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Put a hashtag if you had a beeper. Right?
Yeah. Hashtag beepers. But they wouldn't know you stayed the whole time because right now you about 40 minutes
Right.
in. If you see beepers down there, we know you really support
You
us.
really support us. And so it was like a voice came to me because I was writing down my beeper number. And the voice came to me and said, no, give him your home number, which was more personal. So I literally scratched it out and gave it to him. But I always just said a voice. But I didn't know. I wouldn't use the word clairaudient and messages and knowing. It's just I would just get these sayings and do things. And so when we went to New Orleans, which was a whole discussion about that, it was a freeing spiritual city to where I say I got my wings and I was like, hey, this is, what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm kind of going through. And he was so cool about it. Like, yeah, okay. Like I've been probably waiting for you to come around to this whole time. And so that's what I can say, that I have a support system in you and my family of knowing that coming out to you guys and you understanding me and still loving me and appreciating me. And like I said, we jokingly talk about the witch kind of thing. But then there's honor and respect in what I do. Now, you come to me like, look, I got this situation.
Burn some sage, baby. Burn some sage. I
got you. Don't even worry about this hedge of protection.
That's dope. Just know that. Just know that. Don't come for us.
What was the meme I saw the other day? I just laughed. I had to heart it. It was do no harm, but take no S.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So we got pretty much you guys know what we're about. You guys definitely know what she's about.
If you want to learn some more, like I said, if you want us to have the show, let us know. Like I said, because we talked about this for the longest.
Yeah.
The longest time we should do a show together, but I think now we may be ready or aligned.
Yeah, because every great man is an even better woman, and you guys see where I draw my strength from. It's I've been really blessed in that area. So
see, again, Proverbs 31 woman, like I am his helpmate to come along. He lacks nothing for gain. Nothing.
Exactly. So we know how they can reach you. They know how they can reach you. You've been doing this for a while now. You've already got the books. You got the apps. Mm-hmm. Look like we got a television show in the making. Right. What can we expect from you in the next 5 years? Next time?
Next 5. Okay, well, let's do this. How about I pull a Psalms for us? We can do that. A Bible verse. And see, y'all, like this right here. We're talking people be afraid of like cards and all that stuff. I'm like, Bible verses and stuff are on cards. It's technically like a whole card. So it's like, okay, what do we... Uh-oh. There it goes. Can you get that?
Those look like they might be out of play.
No, those are what they call jumpers.
Jumpers.
But we need more clarity because there was a lot of those. Okay. So we can have... this one stood out. The Lord upholds all those who fall. Psalms 145:14.
What's that again now? The Lord upholds all those who fall.
Yes. Yep. So let's just even take that. So Psalms 145. Yeah, so that scripture is something that you can recite if you're wanting to reunite with your lost souls with God, and when you feel overburdened. And so, of course, that's so fitting because, like I said, a lot of times those women that are coming to me are exactly that. They are feeling overwhelmed, overburdened, got their hands up, Jesus moment. What am I going to, do with that? And so then, of course, got to go to my own personal deck, right, of what words to help to live smart. Oh, there she is. Shine theory. So shine theory is about when another woman shines and you see her doing her thing, that you can support. Like, girl, you are doing that. Like, you're rocking that. Like, there is no lack. There's no scarcity in the mindset of that. And so that is one of the things that as I'm here right now, being able to help you to shine, that doesn't dull my shine at all. So, and there it is.
All right. So you still here?
Hashtag shine theory.
Yep. Drop that down in there. And hopefully the Lord will uphold you.
So be it.
It has been done. It has been spoken. They say, so mote it be. Some of y'all might know what I'm talking about.
Right.
All right, so great show.
Well,
Great
thank
show.
you.
Great show.
I love your energy.
Likewise. If you guys need to reach us, be down the bottom. You'll be able to find us. If you need to reach us on any social media, you definitely need to reach out to Felicia.
Sevenfoldcoaching.com.
I'm going to be right here helping you guys reach millions. Hey, appreciate you guys tuning in every week. It's very important to me for people to come and spend so much time with you, listening and embracing what you have to do. I'm so glad I was able to get my wife on the show. We've talked about it. And she thought she was going to be the first show, but, I had to make her work for it. She wasn't going to be on the show.
No, look, I had to wait to make sure he was going to be committed. Like, it was going to be continuous.
Yeah.
They'll tell you as a podcast goes, to avoid being the first one on the show, so to speak, because, you're not sure. But shout out to those who did, support you and come onto the show and do that. But, yeah, we just had to make sure that we was ready. Divine timing.
Divine timing. Thank you for sharing the stage with me.
Forever.
And we out. See y'all later.
Peace.
It's the rap